Hello, my friends. Jacob is here once again. Thank you for pressing play. We have a lot to talk about. A lot of interesting extraplanetary news to get into. One of my favorite subjects, NiBIRU. Yeah. Oh, good grief. This is it's going to be like an earth-shattering show. It's going to leave a lot of people with, I don't know, something else, I guess, to think about and laugh about. We got a lot of new theories. We got a lot of new information. We got a lot of new sightings. We got a lot of stuff to get to today. This is all big news. A lot of stuff to get to. A lot of stuff. Mysterious signal switching back on again, just as expected. It's 2020. That's all I gotta say. So I hope you're buckled up. Fascinated by the topic of NiBIRU. One of the reasons that I'm so passionate about this subject, and I find it so super interesting, is that a bunch of events in my life, if you're new to the channel, you probably don't know this, but I was always known for sharing spiritual things and really kind of helping people to find what life was really all about, instead of being all scared and all angry and making it about all sorts of nonsense. I really wanted people to find the kingdom of God. Somewhere along the line, I get inspired to talk about how, things are going to get really goofy in the next, like the next 5 to 10 years. And nightmares and weird coincidences and a lot of things get me to talk about this certain subject, NiBIRU. Now, for those of you who don't know what NiBIRU is, it goes by a lot of different names. Sarcophagus, sometimes people call it Planet X, sometimes people call it Planet 9. It goes by a lot of different names. They're not all the same thing, but it's based in, we'll say, historical mythology with the Sumerian tablets, which talk about this planet and this alien race that has been around for quite a bit longer than us, that messed with the genome of the human race and made us kind of, slaves for gold. Hey, listen, I don't make up the stories. A lot of people talk about this. Zachariah Sitchin's one of these authors. But there's this interesting story that, there's another system that we're connected to, even with another star named Nemesis. And what's interesting is I didn't want to talk about any of this. I wasn't into aliens. I know that there's like a gabillion, if space exists, for those people that don't believe. But they say that there's a lot of planets out there, right? So, I don't have a problem believing that, God created life in other areas, because why not make life more interesting? That doesn't negate the fact that we're made in the image of God. That doesn't negate any of that stuff. But bottom line, I start talking about this subject and then the channel takes off. Very strange. These videos, one of the videos went viral. The reason we're talking today, the reason you found me today, stems from being inspired to talk about this one subject. A subject, by the way, that at the time when I was talking about it, they were saying it doesn't exist. They were saying there's no way it exists. NASA did a whole, never straight answer. They did a whole video about how that this is nothing, it's not real. And I said on the channel, I give it a year, they'll start saying it's out there somewhere. And within a year, they started saying it. So yes, we're talking about aliens. We're talking about a lot of interesting things. Today, right back when I started talking about this, it would sound a little goofy, but today you got the government. They admit it. We have craft from other worlds. They're admitting it, which they admitted it. Released footage. And as I said years ago, there'd be this little drip of information, and that if this was a real thing, that it'd be coming around, and they'd have to get everybody ready. So they'd just, give it out in blurts. So they admit there's this Planet 9, Batkin and Brown, these guys from Caltech, these superstars in the field of physics and astronomy, whatever, right? So they say it's out there because all of the calculations where there are these, it would be a massive object, and it would be located right, it's a trans-Neptunian planet, so it'd be like in our solar system, but like on the outer edges, and supposedly maybe it comes around every once in a while, and when it enters in, it doesn't have to crash into us people. All it has to do is enter in, and because of the mass of it, it bounces stuff around, and all of a sudden, you got a bunch of, meteors that everybody's talking about, or asteroids, or new planets that everybody's seeing because everything's kind of been jostled in, or is part of this system. Which, like today, I think, or yesterday, they released news of 50 new planets they just discovered. Every other day, they're discovering planets. So it's 2020, the world is turned upside down, everything's goofy, everybody's primed and ready for the alien invasion. If it's real, some people say it's not, because of these projects like Blue Beam where they just shoot things up and make them look like they're real. All I know is I've seen plenty of stuff in the sky moving around that's not a satellite, shouldn't be. Okay, I'm just saying, there's something going on, and if they're releasing the information, there's a reason for it. And I don't find it strange at all that NiBIRU is coming up in the news, like within the last 24 hours. Planet 9, making its round again. They're trying to explain. They've come up with a lot of names for the reason that this one area of space that everything's being perturbed, meaning moved around. Imagine like magnets coming in together. A magnet repels a magnet because of gravitational force and everything else. And they think that this planet that they say should exist, but they can't find it. There's also a historical myth that's related to this. You wouldn't be able to see it because of all the iron oxide. But they're saying that it could be a black hole. Yeah. Planet 9, a black hole on the edge of the solar system. Researchers are close to a breakthrough. So here's the thing. What they mean by being close to a breakthrough, they don't know if it's a black hole. They have no idea. They're just guessing because of what's going on out there. They're saying, well, we can't find this planet, so maybe it's got to be this primordial black hole, something that was in the solar system. But as they're saying that, and they're saying that it's this, you got other people saying other things. You got other people saying very, very different things, like we had another sun. Yeah, that's news too. Was our sun a twin? This has to do, once again, with the story of NiBIRU. It has to do with this, these two planetary systems. I've talked about it over the years. All of these strange things that they found, from Tabby's star to Look It Up to other things, there's a possibility that there's something that's coming in. And now they're saying it could have happened. That's one of the theories behind how Planet 9, Planet X, and NiBIRU got here, is that it was part of a binary system that somehow broke apart. So what they're saying is Planet 9 is speculated to be a super-Earth, a planet about 5 to 15 times larger than the Earth. Planet 9 is considered unlikely to exist because it would be difficult for the solar system to collect enough material, blah, 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 which has led astronomers to say, you know what, maybe it's part of another system. Maybe that's what it has, and when these two stars come around, right, that would be the Nemesis star, which, by the way, a lot of people believe exists, because most systems have two suns, binary system. Makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Planet 9's all over the news. You got, so it's either the black hole or it's the binary system or whatever it is. Listen to this. Now, the guys that came up with the black hole theory, I think his name's Avi Loeb and Serja. They have this theory that there's a primordial black hole in our solar system, and the other theory that they have is there's a second sun. Right? Second sun. It's interesting. Exciting. The later predicts that there could be more than just one planet entering into our solar system. You got a lot of people working very hard to get to space. You know, remember last year, Israel, their bear sheet? I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I like saying bear sheet. I'm sorry.
The bear sheet mission went to the moon. It had a bunch of tardigrades. Yeah.
And it also had, believe it or not, a civilization backup plan. Like, why would they be sending a civilization backup plan to the moon? I don't know, right? Maybe because like every spooky, scary movie that has to do with, you know, alien invasions or extra-dimensional beings or demonic attacks disguised as aliens, whatever you believe. Listen, people, you know, this is the story that we're a part of. There's plenty of evidence in scripture that you could say, oh, maybe that's a craft, or maybe that's this, or maybe that's that. I'm not saying any of it, but I'm saying, you know, I don't have a problem with it. I don't know why people are so limited in their imagination, right? There's so many different species of animals. Why wouldn't there be other species and other planets? Jesus even said, he says, you know, I have sheep that are in another fold. You don't know anything about them. Okay? Who knows? Who knows? But I do know I'm a man of faith. I do know that the instant I started talking about NiBIRU and a lot of other things that were all connected, CERN, right? Mandela effect, all of these things we've tied together. Go back and look at some of my earlier videos if you haven't. I also have playlists of all this stuff. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, take a moment to subscribe and check the bell. And don't forget, they may not notify you. Just remember, I'm here at least twice a week, every single week. Just look for me, and do me a favor and share the channel around. When you like, when you comment, when you share, this helps the channel to grow, which helps more people to hopefully understand that what they're seeing in the world, it's not important in the grand scheme of things, right? Because in the end, it's a win-win, because everything is working together for the good of those that love the Lord. Now, you may not even know what God is. You may not believe in God. You may only be here because you're talking about the interesting things. You may be in the comment section just waiting to ream me for saying that there may be some aliens. But it doesn't matter. We're all here for a reason. And the more people that get to see this, you watch the show enough times, you can't help but believe that there is more. Because there is. There is. Faith in more is the most important thing. That's why in my channel, I don't tell people where to go. I don't tell people what to believe. I say ask for the truth. Don't go to me. Right? Kind of a popular thing I say on the channel is you come to Jacob's Well, you're thirsty, you want to see some cool stuff, you want to talk about some interesting things, come by, have a drink. But if you don't, look for that life-giving water that's already within, that's in Christ, Christ in you, which is the hope of glory, you're going to thirst again. You're never going to have hope. You're going to be scared every time you look at some ridiculous Twitter feed that's scaring everybody and making everybody think that everybody's going to attack and tear down everybody and everybody's skilled. Listen, you got to stop. You got to unplug. You got to find a way to understand that these little things that are being supercharged online, they're there to get you scared. They're to freak you out. But with what's happening in the grand scheme of things, our life is like a movie, and it's a pretty awesome movie. So they're now saying, like we said on the channel, I say we, I mean me, but a lot of other people in the field, I guess, if this is the field, a lot of other people said they're going to be saying there's a binary system, and then boom. So that's one of their theories. It's interesting also to note that with all the crazy sightings, with all the meteors, with all the comets, by the way, remember Neowise, right? They're still talking about Neowise. I wonder why that is. All these interesting interstellar visitors, which they said Oumuamua was a comet, then it was an asteroid. But their theory is that it has some kind of a solar sail and that it is a craft. That's why they named it. I said it on the channel first, right? Oumuamua, scout from afar arriving first. I said it was going to be like the first of many to come. And then we saw another one right after it. We have another and another and another. We got all these comets or these asteroids or whatever they are that somehow are surviving going around the sun like Neowise did without breaking up. Oumuamua, they're saying possibly alien tech. That's right, because it doesn't behave the way it's supposed to. I talked about this in the last show. And you got the Pentagon to launch the study of UFO sightings. Fox, Mulder, and Scully going to be going back to the government. Pentagon said in a statement that Deputy Defense Secretary David Norquist approved the establishment of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, the UAPTF, which will fall under the Navy. The Department of Defense is, because you know why? Because you got these crafts and they're showing up above all the military bases, and they're like, we should probably look into this. We should probably see what's good. But here's the thing. They probably already got the deals worked out, According to the mythology and the Sumerian text, which I should brush myself up on, the idea is that they stayed around. The Anunnaki, this race, the ones from heaven who fell, or the ones from, wherever, the giants that took upon, mortal wives and made more giants, the fallen ones, the Anunnaki, Anu, that there was this, war between them because some of them cared about the humans, some of them didn't. These legends, these religious texts, they go back. It's not like this is just science fiction. This stuff predates some of the Abrahamic religions. We're talking early history, telling very similar stories like the flood story. They got the Department of Defense looking into all this. You got all these people talking about Planet 9, right? And that mysterious signal, another fast radio burst, the one that was 16 days that we talked about. Coincidentally, there's another one. It's in this little 157-day repetition, and they said, you know what? It's going to start again. So, you imagine if you have some signal that you're sending out in space, you do it in a repeating burst, so people understand that there's intelligence behind it. I like to point out that pretty much all these space movies, they start off with, the signals. When we sent the signals out, all of them like, you sent the signal out, they heard you, and now they're here. That's scary stuff to think about. But it's not that scary if you understand that everything's working together for the good, that this is the greatest story ever told, that it's our life, and that God is in control of it all. How many people would freak out if all of a sudden a bunch of crafts come down? I gotta be honest, I have had a bunch of dreams very recently of the UFOs. I saw one dream, I was standing out and I saw all these fighter jets like it was a night, and they were, and then this whole thing came down from the clouds, and it was very scary, very spooky. But once again, could that just be a spiritual awakening for all of us that, the government's going to try to come against? I don't know. Listen, I don't really care if they're aliens or not. You know what I care about? Let me tell you what I care about. What I care about is that my life has the purpose of helping all of you, to encouraging all of you to look at life a different way, to understand that it's beautiful. No matter how you slice it, hug your kids more, hug your family more. Life is so much better when you have joy. And yet this world is working overtime to get everybody so scared. So yeah, I talk about all these spooky topics, but yet, good grief. That gives me even more faith to see the madness that's happening. It means things are ramping up. There's an awakening that's happening. People are going to wake up. The truth is going to hit you like lightning from heaven. And the dead are going to be raised in an instant. And I don't mean like literally the people that are dead in the ground come back to life. Although I will say, that just happened. There was a 20-year-old girl who was pronounced dead and was put in a body bag and was into the morgue, and they were unzipping it and they were about to exsanguinate. That means take all of the blood out, and get this poor girl ready to be embalmed, and her eyes opened. She woke up. So the dead literally came back. But, the truth is, there was never any death there to begin with. It just seems like that's all there is. But there's still a little bit of life, and it's about to wake back up. And speaking of life, I got to take a moment for all of us to celebrate a couple viewers of the channel. I got email after email from Dazzy is his name, is Darren. He is getting married. They're getting married September 28th. I think it's beautiful. And his lady's name is Eve. Both huge fans of the channel. They watch the show all the time. They've been encouraged by the show. the emails I got from him, and it's funny because I get a lot of emails from a lot of you, right? And it's tough for me sometimes to remember to do these things. And I kept saying, oh, I'm going to do it. I promise I'm going to do it. But he wanted so desperately to have his lady, to have Eve. No, Eve, he loves you, and he wants you to just be, because he thought he thought you'd be so happy to hear me saying, hey, go get married and have a good marriage. Because, a lot of bad stuff has happened, and they've had to deal with a lot. Everybody's dealing with a lot, right? Dad just went through like some chemo, and he's dealing with that. And then there was like another travesty. They're worried about September 28th. They're worried about all the plans because of what's going on in the land. But let me tell you something. God's in charge, and I'm going to give you my blessing. I'm going to say to two of you, if you love each other more than you love yourself, if you look at each other, this is my advice. This is what I do with my wife. I learned this lesson the hard way, because if you're not loving unconditionally, what's going to happen is in the relationships, it's going to start to hurt. But if you start to really love unconditionally, then what you find is you get it back in return, because whatever you put out, you get back, okay? So I learned the hard way when I was having believe it or not, I had some problems with the tan. I'm not perfect, I could have problems. I could be a big chooch, right? So we had a hard time. But then I said, you know what? I love my children even when they get mad at me. And I don't hold on to things, and I let it go. And I realized, I said, it's like my wife. She's so important to me. She's so valuable to me. Maybe I should love her unconditionally too. And that's what you should do, right? You love without expectation. You don't, oh, they've been mean to me, so I'm not going to be nice to them right now. No, you don't do that. That's not love. That's not how a marriage works. A marriage works when you lift each other up. When one's down, you're there to support them. And what I mean by down is not they're sad, but maybe they're being a jerk to you. Maybe they're screaming at you. Maybe they're giving you a hard time. Maybe they're blaming you for everything that's wrong in their life. They need you. So why don't you lift them up? Why don't you forgive them? Why don't you understand that really, when you're married, when you're in a relationship, when you have somebody it's right there, that's all you really got, And so a lot of your frustration and your angst is going to go that way too. But that's why we got to love each other. We got to forgive each other. We got to look at each other with new eyes. We got to let go to the past. Let go to the past. The word lived, spelled backwards, is devil. You cannot bring up the past. You can't argue about the life you've lived. You have to live in the moment. You got to live in the present. That's why it's called the present. It's a gift. So love each other. And there's my blessing. And I love each and every one of you. And I hope you have the best day ever. And in the comment section, why don't you wish them a happy nuptial. And we can't wait to hear how everything goes. All right. I love you all. And don't forget to subscribe, share it around, tell your friends. Have the best day ever. And if you want a Uranus, it's a planet mug. Yeah, it's in the description. Like I said, that's all you got to do. See somebody in the morning. And it's a way to also support the channel. I thank all of my patrons and everybody who does support the channel, because you guys are awesome. And thank you for all you do. And I love you. And I will talk to you all, I guess, next time. Okay? Sometimes it's hard for me to say goodbye. I just want to stay here for a while. Just, spend some more time with you. All right, I got to go. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching Jacob Israel. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and share this channel around. If these shows have helped you, help Jacob to reach more any way you can, and have the best day ever.